Alright, so what this is an environment in UDT, and it's a representation of a faucet system where you've got your hot water and your cold water, and you've also got four essentially settings that each water temperature can be at. You can have off, low, medium, and high. And so these rings up here are a representation of the basic control flow, essentially, to where these glowing spheres represent the state that each either temperature is at. And so you can go over here and move these around by pressing these buttons. Alright, so right now I'm going to raise the cold water, so it's going to go, that setting is going to go from off to low. And as you can see, the indicator moves from the off setting to the low setting. And what you'll also notice is that this glowing sphere appeared. And this sphere is what's going to be representing both our net water temperature and also our net water pressure. And so as you can see, if I go ahead and raise the cold flow again, so now it's now medium setting, the size of this sphere increases. And I can do this again. Put the cold on high, and once more the sphere increases. Now I can't increase the cold after this. This little text pops up, but the indicator won't move forward, and I can lower the cold still. And so the indicator goes back, but also the size of the sphere shrinks. And so that indicates that as we decrease the amount of cold water in this system, that our overall water pressure is going down. Now the warm water system works the exact same way. However, what's interesting is that if you put both temperatures on to some degree at the same time, the net temperature will reflect this in terms of the color. So let's put on some warm water and see what happens. So the red indicator moves, and need to put some cold water back on. So you see right now that the temperature for this is red, and so that means that it just held hot water in the system. But if you put some cold on in equal amounts, you'll see how this turns purple, and it's just an even purple because there's equal amounts of warm water and equal amount of cold water in the system at the same time. Now if we put some more warm water in there, so that there's a medium amount of warm water and a small amount of cold water, essentially you've got a slightly redder shade of purple, and you can see this becomes more evident if you put the warm water on high. And so the shade changes once more, essentially, and also the size of the sphere changes. But then let's say we want to raise the cold water up once more. And then let's so see it's still a bit more red than it is just even purple, but it's still getting there. So we put the cold on once more time, and so now at this point both temperatures are on full, and we still have that even purple again. So yeah, that's basically how the environment works. Pretty much all of this was done using Kismet. The art assets here were just very basic, straightforward. But with Kismet, the node configurations wound up getting pretty complex, as you can see from this image. To essentially summarize the logic governing the system, the overall water pressure is determined through additive means. So you just add up the amount of cold water and the amount of hot water. However, the water temperature is added through proportional means, to where you calculate the amount of warm water relative to the total amount of water in the system. This environment is a refined version of the same system that I coded a while back using Codio. And in that system, it's divided into two halves, to where in the top half you still have the control flow, and that's basically presented the same way as it is in this final version with UDT. Now the final version in UDT has the warm and cold colored off better, so it's better visually represented. But other than that, it's essentially the same. The big difference, however, is in the lower half, to where the pressure and temperature are represented. Because in the Codio version, for the temperature, the color doesn't change, and for the pressure, you really don't get as good a sense of the scale of it, of the proportions changing and whatnot. So that's something that I really focused on with this UDK version, to where the temperature dynamically changes so that it's a balance between warm and cold, or it's extremes of warm and cold. And then for the pressure, it scales dynamically according to the amount of water going into the system.